Why is New Zealand so shit at small business? We hate to say it, and we wouldn't like to think that that is true, but a recent survey suggests that New Zealand is ranking very low amongst other countries that were surveyed when it comes to a range of rankings for the small business sector. So, Phil, where do we start? It's pretty gloomy, isn't it, to know that New Zealand is pretty poor when it comes to a number of metrics in the world of the SME, SME business owner.
Yeah, New Zealand loves a stat, and we love a per capita stat, given that we are a small nation that often punches above its weight. But this is a stat that's certainly nothing to be proud of, unfortunately. And it really is a shame, because I think it really highlights how tough it is in New Zealand and how much red tape there potentially is for small business owners to actually get ahead, and really ultimately what is tied back to the only way to create wealth in this country, and that's property.
It didn't take us long, and we've got to the crux of the problem.
It did. I mean, we like to find solutions, and we like to get to the outcome pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But if we unpack it in a little bit more detail, the data here is broken down by age groups, and what I found really fascinating was the older you got, the shittier their businesses performed. And I think it just really highlights they've got no pressure to perform, because as you get to probably those retirement ages, 60s, 70s, you've paid off your mortgage, you've got no debt on your properties, you've probably gone off and bought the batch down in Pawanui, or you're hanging out with all your other mates, you've probably upgraded to a Jag, you're spending time on Waiheke Island, maybe even you've made enough to head down to Queenstown, or even upgraded to Wanaka. But, you kind of go, well, I've got enough to feel good. The business is pumping out enough cash. I don't feel hungry anymore. So the stats that we've read about really show that the performance of those boomer businesses really does drop off. And certainly from the due diligence work that we do of these baby boomer businesses, they're flat as pancakes. And you can see that they window dress them before they come up for sale. But interestingly, the business owners that are under 40, more than half of them grew their business in 2024 when so much of the economy contracted.
Yeah.
Because of all of that GDP data, and certainly across the clients that we've seen, 2024 wasn't easy.
I wonder if the under 40s are, fresher with technology, they are hungrier, they've got debt to clear down, they are maybe newer to the process, and they're in new industries that are going forward and whatnot, whereas some of the older business owners, like you say, don't have the pressure as much, and also they've probably watched the growth of property over the last 4 decades and go, well, do I want to work hard to lose 33 cents of my profit to tax, or maybe even 39, or do I want to take more money and put it into property and not have to pay any tax over there, and I'll get a rental return and then watch it inflate over time. Okay, sell one down, great, I've got a lot more disposable cash now, no tax to pay, you haven't had to do any work for it, and they've done that alongside running a business, so the business has funded that, and that has built untaxed wealth. What humans love the easiest possible way, and that has proven probably to be the thing to do in this country over the last 4 or 5 decades.
And I think we can fix it, and it's going to be pretty easy. It just needs one government with balls, big ones, to say we're going to raise the age of super, and this is how we're going to do it. We will keep your KiwiSaver and your family home out of a capital gains tax net, but we'll just introduce a broad-based capital gains tax. I mean, if Labor said that they would do that, and it was quite a tidy policy, I'd probably vote for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gee, we'll have to do a capital gains tax. I think you got to have it across everything, as the great John Key would say.
You do.
Why exclude the family home?
Well,
that's just another tax grab.
I'm a little bit biased there.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we bring in the Greens capital gains, where over 2 million, I think it is, and then it's X%, and if you can't have the cash, the real world income to pay for it, it accrues to the balance, and then when you ultimately sell it, the government come in and take a chunk. I thought that was a bit cheeky, but I guess for context of this article that we're reading comes out of the back of MBIE, the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment, and I'd probably go so far as to suggest that they might consider changing their name on the back of these stats, because they're not really innovative. Because they're unwinding the Digital Boost program, which started had a peak in June 2023 of 60,000 registered users. Now, I recall signing up for it to have a look at what it's all about and and how you can better use technology in your business. And it was through MB. Other than that, nothing. And you kind of look at it and go, well, it makes sense to unpack it. And if you guys wanted to achieve something, why did you throw so little at it? And then the other interesting stat is businesses that went asked for help during 2024, 49% of them went to their accountant. It's like, well, where do the other 51% go for help?
Yeah.
Or do they not ask for help at all? Certainly, obviously not this digital boost program that the government had that they're unwinding.
MB, Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment. Maybe it's going to be MBU, Ministry of Business, Underwhelming and Unemployment. We shall find out. So a few stats from this report. So Singapore's small business continue to outperform New Zealand, of course, according to CPA Australia's Asia Pacific Small Business Survey of 2024 to 2025. Let's just remind ourselves that New Zealand has been in a technical and real recession over the last couple of years, in and out, but definitely a real recession where per capita we are not really growing. So we had the lowest percentage of businesses reporting growth in 2024, a trend expected to persist in 2025. And in May, and we're about to go into June 2025, I would hand on heart say that would probably be the feeling from people, is that they are saying 2025 is as hard, if not harder, than 2024. 64% of New Zealand's small businesses stagnated or declined in 2024. So just think about that for a second if you're listening to this. How did your business go? If you didn't stagnate or decline, well done. You know, that's really good. You're bucking the trend and you're not part of that 64%. I don't know exactly how they measure these. We can dive into more of the data in time. But New Zealand small businesses rank among the lowest in just about every indicator of technology uptake. A risk-averse mindset prevails among New Zealand small business owners and most are unlikely to pursue high-growth strategies.
Risk-averse. Wonder why it's risk-averse? Because it's not bricks and mortar. It's not a house, pussies.
Because it's easier to invest in safe as houses. And the bad news really is that the news is not going to get better anytime soon. We've got the oldest business owner demographic among all the markets surveyed, with 64% aged 50 or over. Jesus, mate, I thought it was 1 and 2, but it's 64% are aged 50 or over. We need to update our content, mate. I've got to get out of here and get to work.
Yeah. To go back to that previous thing, as much as it just mugged off business owners a little bit just then, I think I know, the banks need to be called out here because they make it easier to go out and acquire property because that's the asset class that they support rather than something that's productive, like a business that's going to grow the future state of New Zealand, employ people, all of that good stuff that was spoken about before. So, you know, when are the banks going to be called out to go, hey, look, you need to disincentivize somehow people focused on an unproductive asset and try and move capital into something that is going to have a better outcome for all of New Zealand? Yeah.
If we can make it easier for people to start these and invest in these businesses, and we've seen it where some of our clients have acquired or taken on plant and machinery or whatnot, if they get an interest rate that's like less than 10, we're like, oh shit, that's amazing. But you know, if you said to somebody, oh, you need to pay 10% interest on your mortgage, they're like, that's criminal, you can't do that, that's so unfair, how can they justify charging that?
What fascinates me as a younger fella, and this is probably going back, and the kids reminded me probably last night when they heard what year I was born, they were like, geez, what was it like living when the dinosaurs were alive, Dad? And I was like, whoa, cop that. But I remember a few years later reading stuff and hearing stuff about New Zealand being quite advanced for adopting technology early. And then I saw a graph yesterday which was credit stats data, and it had the Gen Zers. Are they the next hip generation that are coming through into the workforce? The first account that they apply for credit, buy now, have it later, with about, it was over 50% of them, that's their first credit record. Second, telecom account, like a mobile phone. And I thought, gee, that's fascinating. So they want to get something now to solve the need, and it's like, right, we need to have the latest and greatest phone because that's obviously a status thing. So there's still the need to have the piece of technology, but it's interesting that it's only looked at from a status symbol point of view rather than something that can be leveraged off of to be able to help you further down the track and then be able to use it as a tool. And I guess young people need to see that as, how do we use it as a tool to get better? Because I was blown away to read here more than we were 11th out of 11 for online sales, with only 10% of revenue from online. For a country that used to pride itself on being technology-led,
Yeah.
like that's woeful.
I reckon that's just marketing, that we're like quick to adopt technology, because I had dinner with my folks this week and they said the same thing. I was explaining to them how there was nothing in the budget around AI. We're not taking it seriously. We're being left behind. I have insight to people who work in that space and they hire thousands of people and they're like on the ground and talking to them about what they're doing. So my olds can see like, oh, this isn't just like, something that was on the news. This is a big thing. And my stepmom said to me, oh, I thought we were really good at adopting technology. I thought we were really fast. And I'm like, who brainwashed us to believe that that's true?
No, it's not. We're big proponents of speeding up cash cycling through your balance sheet and reducing your debtors by collecting payment up front and using online payment platforms. Yet again, another poor stat, more than 10% of sales received through digital platform options such as PayPal, Google Pay. 11 out of 11.
Seriously.
Is anyone, listening to the advice that we've been given? I mean, we've been saying this now for how many years?
Yeah, it's quite mind-boggling. I'm keen to know what the other 10 countries are. So we've got Singapore, New Zealand, but what are the other 9?
You'd probably think, reading this, it would have to be
it's
third world countries. Is it Asia Pacific?
Asia Pacific, so you'd have to...
We've banged on so often about getting in front of the right eyeballs, create content, be visible, add value, tell stories, all that kind of stuff. Social media for business purposes.
Don't do it to me.
11 out of 11.
How embarrassing, eh?
Like, that's a fucking trifecta so far. Like, sorry, that's 3 from 3 where we're getting 11. This is nothing to be proud of. And the thing is that these 3 things that I've talked about so far are low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. Even if you just think about it as if you do these things, you're going to be outperforming a lot of other New Zealand business owners. So if you are looking at social media, and actually using it, if you're finding ways to take digital payment, if you're receiving sales online, you are, when you go to sell your business or when you go and walk into rooms, you're putting yourself into a category that a lot of people just aren't doing.
Mate, maybe I've just read a paragraph here. We need to bin the CA badge and get the CPA badge instead, because it's Australian for starters, so it might be better, the land of milk and honey, apparently, the green and gold. CPA Australia submitted on Budget 2025 and recommended the government launch a campaign to increase the proportion of small business owners under 40 by promoting the benefits of small business ownership to our young people.
I love that, mate.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, like I'm a big advocate for that, and I'm seeing it more and more where young people are coming through and going, you know what, the whole work hard and just follow that path, maybe that's not it anymore. And I think what has changed that a lot of people can't see is that obviously a lot of the wealth is now tied up with the baby boomers, and they're ready to spend it. And so if you, like we talk all the time to clients about, okay, how can you add value to therefore make a sale? It's no different, you can go to these baby boomers who have got the wealth and you've got to go, okay, who's got the money? Okay, the baby boomers do. What do they need help with? Like, is it cleaning? Is it booking trips? Is it convenience? Is it technology? Is it support? What is it? And a lot of it, I think, is just the simple stuff like clean their gutters, rake their garden, do the lawns, help them out, do deliveries for them, get on their roof, and all of those trade type roles or hands-on things are what people are going, yeah, like I'll pay you to do that. And that's, but I think we've got into this, it was like, okay, property, let's do that to get wealthy. Then it was like, oh, you've got to be like really smart and really entrepreneurial and build a rocket lab or something like that. So then I think people have not realised, well, actually you can make more than any employee just by going around doing people's lawns. But are you willing to do it, And you've got to find your thing that's fulfilling for you to do. But you might end up hiring somebody, you might end up going further down the path and, designing products. Look at Hire a Housewife as an example. One of our clients, she went from a single mum that was just going out and cleaning people's places to fit it in around her child to now hiring tens of people, turning over well over 7 figures and, makes good coin and really enjoys what she does and provides employment for tens of other women who are in the exact position that she used to be to allow them to do the number of hours that they need to have some income for their household.
Yeah, brilliant. I wonder if there is a reluctance of the average New Zealand business owner to take the time to invest because they're too comfortable and they don't want to roll the dice on risk for fear of upsetting the current reward that they're getting. So it's going to require a sacrifice of some short-term cash flow. And more often than not, we're talking to business owners about you need to go and pay. To free up your time, you've got to go and pay for someone else's time.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole attitude in New Zealand of she'll be right, number 8 why, we'll do it ourselves, we'll have a crack, da-da-da-da-da, in business, I think holds us back because we think to ourselves, okay, I know I've got to do blah, blah, blah in my business. And it might be look at some new type of machinery or, in this case, with this article, some kind of new technology. Oh, I know I need to be doing more on social media. Oh, I know I need to be creating a website to get some online sales. And it's on your list of things to do. But because it's something new, it's never going to get to the top because, one, it's something new and it's probably a tad too much friction for you to be able to go, yep, I can see that by putting in a bit of short-term pain here, there is going to be a longer-term benefit to me and my business. It's going to require cash, and all the stuff's just stacking up to go, no. I'll go back to the way I've always done things.
Yeah.
And I'll get back on the tools. My business is working. The cash is good. I'm comfortable. I'll just keep plodding along. And I just wonder whether we're just a nation of plodders, and this mediocrity is just baked into us now.
I think there's two things there, and one, I agree. I think that we set our goals so low because we don't have a lot of role models and people openly talking about how much they make and what their lives are like. I think that's changing with podcasting and people creating content and people getting an insight to like, oh, okay, if they can do that, why not me? So I hope that that's slightly changing, but I do think that, when I was a young fella, I thought if I could make $100,000 a year, like I'm at the peak of New Zealand, I'm killing it. I'm probably just saving a bit. I'm retiring. Like I'm probably done at 40. But then you start getting there and you're like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, times have changed. The $100,000 is not what it used to be. It's now the equivalent of probably the 50 or 60K that it used to be on. And it's just like, oh fuck, okay, I've got to push a little bit harder now.
But how do you go out there? Because I think we're so scared in New Zealand to have realistic conversations, being like, okay, it's tough to get by on $100,000. Because as soon as you do that, someone's like, oh, we'll try living off of 50. Try being on a budget. Oh, hey, like you're not somebody else. Let everybody run their own race. And so I think we're like, oh shit, I better not aim for 200. And sometimes we'll say to clients like, hey, what are you targeting money-wise? And we'll have these fascinating conversations and we'll push them like, why not more? Oh, I don't need that much. Okay, well, great. Here's what to do with the excess. Invest it or fucking donate it. Or
somebody that ultimately wants to buy your business will sure as shit want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's a bit of holding ourselves back. And secondly, I think I had having a conversation with somebody this morning where they were talking to me about they only want to work for people that value what it is that they do, right? And I said the problem with a lot of Kiwi people is they're so short-sighted. So when you ask a Kiwi person to invest in themselves, even with, say, our 90-day program, they're like, oh, okay, it's $7,000 over 3 months. Like, okay, like what do I get for that? And when people ask that, you're like, okay, this isn't great. Like they're already trying to figure out like, oh shit, how can I make sense of spending $7,000? Whereas others are just like, okay, great, let's go. But people look at an investment and they think, okay, well, it's over that time period. But they forget that once you've got the skills and the knowledge, you've got it for life.
You're going to get a return on that.
Yeah, so you spend your $7,000 now, and you can make it back. I'll help you make it back in the 90 days. But now you've got it in the next quarter after that, But I think we're incredibly bad when it comes to investing in ourselves or our businesses to look at that spend as an investment and think, okay, over the lifetime of doing this, what's it going to lead to? And we just look at it as like, someone said with our business planning over 12 months recently, like, oh, so like what do I get for that? And it's like, well, you've come to us because you know that we can deliver what it is that you already need. And we've got people in your industry that are doing well, but cricket's like, we're not, it won't turn into work. And they probably don't want to invest the money into what it could be into the future because it's like, oh, like, are we going to make that back in 12 months? And I think we see it all the time with clients with marketing too. It's like, oh, we switched our marketing. Oh, it's 3 weeks in. Oh, nothing's happened. This is a waste. And so I think it's incredibly hard for Kiwi people to invest into themselves and their businesses.
I think it's because they don't know how. And there's never really been education. And I was certainly thinking back to in my younger days going through school and then just the mindset of parents. And this is no slight against the school that I went to and my parents, but there was no real kind of like, hey, you go out and you want to do this, you got to work it out yourself. And I started to work that out from a younger age myself without actually being told to. I'm just going, oh shit, if I need to know something, I need to go out and actually read about it or look at something. And I still remember as a younger fella watching one of my first games of cricket, and it was a 50 over.
Yep.
And you forget that stuff's still around because of the T20. And I remember asking somebody that's watching from me, was like, who's winning? And they're like, watch the game and work it out.
Nice.
And I was just like, oh. And I sat there and I watched it, and then I started to understand the system. And I was just like, okay, so there's one team that's in first, bat, right, score, then the next team comes out. So you can't work it out. And you kind of got an understanding. Right, okay, the brain's got to go to work and work this out. And I think New Zealanders, generally speaking, are reluctant to invest in themselves because they don't know how, and it's too much friction. Because, again, we compare it to our favourite asset class, property. The banks make it easy. The property doesn't require any additional investment in yourself. You go and buy it. You might go, well, you've got to go in and get a tenant. You can outsource the tenancy stuff to a property manager. So that's handoff. So we delegate the friction. Then, yep, we've got to pay the rates. We've got to pay the repairs. But the property manager will help us manage the repairs. So the friction with owning property is really low. And I think us Kiwis, we just like it easy. And I always remember hearing on a sport thing years ago, New Zealanders excel in sports where we sit down.
Oh.
Most, yeah. I think rowing.
Yeah.
What else do we sit down in? That's probably the only one that we're do really well in recently because I've been listening to just think of Lisa Carrington.
Yeah. Arm wrestling, drinking beers.
Yeah, probably drinking beers. Absolutely. Car racing. We're pretty good at that. So we're sitting down on our asses. We seem to excel at, and I think property, we can sit on our asses, sink a few cans, and the assets just taking care of itself through the property cycle going up. Don't need to worry about it. In business, it's just like, no, it doesn't work like that. We've got to get off of our ass and invest in ourselves. We don't really have time to slow down and be so complacent because we've got to remain hungry to stay ahead.
Yeah, there's a few examples I've been thinking about recently. One, every time I say to people, like, I brought this book, it's like, don't you know you could get it free from the library? I'm like, no, I fucking brought it to encourage me to read it, to force me to actually take action and put some skin in the game.
Good.
Oh, yeah, I still do that as well. I think we're so keen to look for a shortcut.
Yep.
Same thing with credit cards. 2 million personal credit cards out there. Everybody can make sense. The reward points, the travel insurance. No stopping to think like, how is it free? Why is it travel insurance and not contents insurance? Why are they giving away travel insurance of all things? You finally go to claim on it and realise like, it didn't cover what we thought that it did.
It would, yeah.
But like, we're so good at learning this stuff. And then someone will say like, I haven't started investing because I'm not sure what platform to use. Well, how did you know which credit card to use? Oh, that's different. No, it's not. You just didn't want to do it. It's so we're very good at spending and consumption and not investing. I think it's just part of maybe like
it's that short-term dopamine thing. Like you've got the gold credit card that's getting you 127 points or 169 points for every $69 that you spend. And it's just like, and then bloody somebody shows up with a platinum credit card and I get 200. It's like, fuck, who cares?
You go and learn how to make the money.
Yeah.
Like someone said to me recently, we get $400 a year on our cash back, and we don't pay any fees and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm like, great. I'm like, what'd you do with the 400? Oh, what do you? I'm like, did you invest it? No, just went back into the household budget. I'm like, mate, I could teach you how to make $400 in a fucking day.
If these credit cards were that good, how come people don't shout from the treetops and there's more media articles about the people getting the rewards? Oh, hey, Sally went down and managed to cash in her rewards and got a BMW or got a new bloody lounge suite or got a new vacuum cleaner or got that many points, she got a round-the-world trip. Crickets, nothing. I don't know anyone that has had a massive win with points.
Well, you're going to get 46 people email you now and tell you. But the thing, my gripe with it is like we spend all this time investing into understanding stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
But then we don't think, okay, how can I think bigger? How can I make $1,000 a week, more, not $400 in cash back in a year? But interestingly for you, mate, because I think you'd be out of the loop with the credit cards. Kiwi Bank, they've been in the airpoints. They won't be the last bank.
Yep.
And then now what's everyone's going to be? It will still be like, oh no, still needed. Oh, it's real good for travel insurance. Oh, you can't hire a car overseas without it. Like the credit card cult is fascinating, but everybody has these answers. And so they can invest the time into finding that shit. I'm like, why can't you invest the time into getting better at business, getting better at life, getting better health, better mindset, etc.? I don't know what's so hard. I guess it's just that, it's hard. And so we shy away from it. The credit card points and whatnot, property, it's easy.
Well, I think as CPA highlighted in the submission to the budget is there's no incentives there or encouragement for people to invest in a business. And if you're going to invest in a business, you're going to have to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
The key thing there is no encouragement, and because there's just so much one-eyed focus on this one asset class that we continue to bag, that it ultimately comes back if that you want to get ahead, you've got to do something different. And I've been blown away of all of the people that have been booking into the calendar about buying a business, just the demographic of who's actually booking in. I'll need to go back and check. Probably predominantly at the moment is slightly skewed to more middle-aged people, but I'm blown away at the amount of younger people that are hungry, that are booking going, hey, look, I want to be able to buy a business. What do I need to learn? What do I need to know? This is my current asset position. I've got equity in a home, or I don't have a home. I've got some cash. I want to ultimately own a business. What have I got to do? I'm like, great. There are signs out there of some young people that aren't going to go down that well-trodden path that's perceived to be easy. Yeah, it's easy, but it's just gross and it's not satisfying. And there's hope out there for these other younger people. They go, yep, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go out there and get it.
Well, I think it will change too, because I think the median rent is around, let's say it's 600 and something, let's say it's 700. All that is a $35,000 bump in your income, okay? Now, then you've got your insurance, your rates, blah, blah, blah. Over 50% of rentals run at a loss. So there's not actually any extra income. So if I decide, well, I want some extra income and I go and buy a property, but then I realize I've got to use that to clear debt, I'm going to get bored pretty quick if you're entrepreneurial, and you get in the wrong vehicle. And so if you're doing it for income, you can make more than a rental by just going and cleaning gutters, doing tasks for people. Simple. But until we get people to realize that, they get trapped in the wrong vehicle. But I think businesses, you're in control of your income and you've got to be good at what you do to be able to do that. But again, like we don't teach people that or talk about that. We're basically like, no, property, get another one. Oh, as soon as you can borrow more. And hey, yeah, I get it. Like there's a big difference between increasing your income and then, building up wealth. But again, I just think it comes back to struggling to actually think enough about what it is that we want in life. Going back to the piece about being scared to invest or how it's hard, I saw someone's comment, as for lack of implementation of social media, in the past when I've attempted this, it produced the lowest value, highest communication requirements of any leads. AdWords beats it hands down. Well, of course, because those are two very different things. Social media is not AdWords. AdWords, people are searching with intent to find a solution to their problem. With social media, you may be trying to find new audiences and then add value in their life or build some awareness to then retarget them later on. So I think, again, like it's hard for people to make sense of investing. Now, have we made sense of investing into podcasts the whole time that we've been punching out content to then build a studio, which is then hired people, contracted people and paid for the equipment in the background. Someone's had to make that. You could argue, well, there's no point doing that. You guys should have bought a rental property instead. But it doesn't fit into where we're going, what our goals are, reaching more people. We invest a lot of time into educating everyday people so that we can have a better economy and better country and people who do have a seed planted in their life and live it differently. That means a lot to us and that's really valuable to us. We can make sense of that. For other people, they'll be like, fuck that, I'm getting a Lamborghini or I'm gonna, I'm getting a rental or whatever, like that's not for me. But we know that if we carry on down that path, the money always comes back because someone will listen to this and in 18 months' time, they'll get in touch and go, it all clicks now. Hey, can you help me?
In reference back to the earlier comment around 49% of small business owners sought advice from their accountant or business consultant, only 5% turn to the government for advice.
Sheesh.
Wow. trust levels are high there. I guess the reason why I come back to this is, for the last probably 20 minutes, close to half an hour, there's been a bit of a beat up here on small businesses in terms of just mindset and some of the excuses that we can be trapped in around, defaulting to just accepting average because we just need to remain mindful of going, right, we've just got to make sure we pay the mortgage each month. Happy days, we carry on. If you want help and you want to get a different outcome in your business and you're not seeing the data that you want to, ask for your help. And the first and the easiest place to go to, I think, has got to be your accountant. I'm biased. Most people have got some level of relationship with their accountant, and you've just got to be able to say to them quite clearly, hey, I want to understand this. This is a problem I've got. Can you help me with? If you can't help me, do you know somebody who could? And we get a lot of people contact us and say, hey, look, can you do this? And we'll just throw our hands up in the air. Well, we don't throw our hands in, we're really front-foot it and we're honest and say, nah, we can't help you with this, but we know so-and-so, go in and get in touch with them and refer them off to somebody that we know that's going to be better placed. I think start the conversation with some level of intent of the challenges and problems that you want to overcome in your business, and then ask for help and go out and go, right, let's come up with a plan and make a commitment to actually solving this challenge so that we're not having a repeat of a 2024.
Yeah, love that. I think people forget that numbers are the output, so the data is there. It's never been more accessible. When I first started in accounting, we would need to code it or put it into a system. Now it's there live every day. Business owner said to me the other day, anything noticeable in my accounts? And I said, well, your revenue stayed about the same, but your marketing has dropped off massively. That's interesting. Only you have that answer. I don't know, but that's strange that you've spent less on marketing, but your sales have stayed the same. What are you doing in that marketing space? And then basically, we've started thinking about doing this. And I said, well, your business is at a scale where you shouldn't be playing and fiddling. You've got so many great products. If you can get them in front of the right people, you'll make back any marketing agency and marketing spend. Speak to someone. I don't know about these people. I'm like, okay, well, here's somebody that I trust. Have a chat to them. I'll leave that with you, but I'm not going to make the decision for you. Now, interestingly, in there too, their profitability was slightly up, but a lot of their overheads had increased, so rent and insurance and things like that. So then, Mike, I can spot, how is that happening? And where is the margin coming from to allow that to happen? But, then because I know enough about the business, I'm like, hey, if you didn't do these things, like make offers with your high value services and just did your bread and butter, your profitability probably would have dropped a lot, and you would have had less money, and it would have been frustrating. You'd be going, what's going on? So the beauty was that you did do a number of offers and focus on those things. It's like, you need to keep that up because costs are slowly increasing, but you've met them by making offers to provide high value services, and that saved you. We'd be having a very different conversation. But then there's little things too. I'm like, you've paid thousands of dollars to the IRD in late payment penalties. All that is you're sloppy. You aren't setting reminders, you aren't paying on time, and you've wasted thousands of dollars that you'll never get that money back. That could have been in your bank account, but instead you now have to pay it to the IRD. And stop saying like, oh shit, I missed the payment date. Set a reminder 2 days before. Pay it straight away. Don't know, like you fix that, and you'll save thousands of dollars.
It ties in with the know your numbers, and maybe we should touch on it before we finish in terms of the solution there that we've got that can help businesses scratch beneath the surface of what's going on. But I heard this week in the news that Air New Zealand have made a change on their domestic route. You can fly from Hamilton to Christchurch in the past on one of those whirligig planes. They're fun. I enjoy them. They're now replacing it with a jet. They haven't had a jet fly from Hamilton to Christchurch for, I think, 20 years.
Wow.
They wouldn't have made that decision, one, lightly, and two, without data.
Yeah, good point.
That's a big decision. And if it's okay for a corporate and a listed company to be going, right, we've only got limited resource in terms of airplane stock with available seats. We've got data in our business that shows there is demand on this route. It's at a price point that people are prepared to pay. If we go, okay, the demand's at a point now that we can go, if we add more capacity, the demand is still there that we can fill that capacity and we can do it profitably. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
No, 100%. And I love the analogy of if it's good enough for the corporate to do it, then, it's good enough for us. And I think if more of us can think like that, then we're going to set ourselves up well. But you mentioned the Know Your Numbers sessions that we do, mate. And we haven't done one for a little while, to be honest.
No, we haven't. And I wonder whether it's because people are reluctant, again, like the 90 days or the business planning. It's an investment in yourself. What am I going to get? Da-da-da-da-da-da. And I guess that's it. We will sit with you. Before we even sit with you, we will ask you some questions about what are the challenges you're faced in your business. What do you want to understand? And then we'll go, right, this is from your perspective as the business owner, what you can see and what you're feeling. And then we'll get access to your data, Xero, MYOB. We'll put on our mining hats, get out our pickaxe, and we'll go to work. And we will crunch the numbers. We'll just get into nerd mode and understand what actually makes this business tick. Where are those challenges showing up in the numbers? And then go, hey, did you know this is what we're seeing? Da-da-da-da-da. Translate it for you as a business owner to go, okay, now that you understand the numbers in more detail, you can go away and make a much bigger impact to those numbers. So you're ultimately going to end up with more profit and therefore more cash.
Someone actually said after doing their one-on-one Know Your Numbers session, can confirm the incredible free content Next Advisory provider is only the tip of the iceberg after booking the one-on-one session. Highly valuable session that would absolutely invest in again. Again, like they get it, invest in. It's an investment. Hey, you'll love this one, mate. I got a message from a client this week, and it kind of ties back to what we were talking about before. So they're working through our 90-day program, and they're 6 weeks in. Just thought I'd share this as I saw your post about it being tough out there and wanted to show you that there is some hope for folks. New lead came in at the new higher rate based on value. So we've been talking a lot about billing on value, not just per hour. And I was really challenged how they've come up with their pricing. Really scary for them. Turned that into more work, took a load off of their hands, dropped in the referral rewards scheme that totals $15,599 in new sales since our first meeting. Got more in the pipeline, we'll explain when we catch up. That 15 grand will get me next year's 90 days with yous, as well as already paying off this current 90 days.
Fuck me. Like the proof is in the pudding.
And that's a mindset, right? Like that's how they're looking at it.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, okay, it's going to cost $7 grand to work with you. They've already made it back twice. We're only at week 6. And they're saying, well, great, I've paid for my 90 days and I'm going again next year.
They're investing in themselves to give themselves more weaponry in their arsenal to then leverage off into the future. So this isn't just a one and done. And I think that's what some people forget is we're educating business owners so that they can take the lessons that they get either in a one-on-one session, in a 90-day session over 12 months and apply them consistently.
Exactly.
And if you apply it consistently, that 15 grand isn't one and done. It's going to happen a second time, a third time, a fifth time, a 10th time. And that 15 grand isn't going to stay at 15 grand. It's going to go up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we talked about a bit earlier, where it's like Kiwis forget, they'll look at something and go like, what does it cost? Not, okay, what's the investment? And therefore, okay, what am I going to get back over the lifetime of having this knowledge? What over the next 2 or 3 years of taking action and implementing it? They have laughing emojis at me in that message. I think they're saying it's too cheap because they're now basically like, well, I've already made my cash back twice. Yeah. And we're still not done. We've got work to do and we're catching up very soon.
No, that's encouraging that there are business owners out there that are prepared to invest and get their lessons and can see the return. This one's fortunate that they've got a near-on immediate return. I would say 6 weeks is pretty immediate in the context of business. Some business owners, it might take you the full 3 months, but there is an impact and it does come in the form of cash and just investing in yourself for a better future.
The interesting thing on this as well is that I know what is not in that message because I've unpacked this even further, but what they've learned through increasing their own value and understanding their value is that a lot of the things they were saying yes to was driven out of scarcity. And that's frustrating. It's burning them out. It's attracting the same sort of work and they're not actually enjoying that. So this has been a good circuit breaker for them to realize, okay, this is how I enjoy my business. Now, I'd encourage all people to think about when you started your business, what did you want it to look like? What did you want it to drop out for you? If that's not what you're getting, well, then ask for some help. But shout out to the people who are listening because this is survey data across a number of businesses, right? But our clients, a lot of them, they're aspirational business owners. They're pushing for more. They want to be top, taxpayers in terms of income that they're earning. They want to be making a difference. They want to be doing cool work. They want to be in it for the long term. And we're very lucky and blessed to work with those types of people. And there's a number of them that are listening to this too, and they're on their journey. And this data just shows you that you're not actually competing with as much as you probably think you are in New Zealand, because people just aren't willing to do what other countries are willing to do. So, maybe use ChatGPT or something to compare your business to international data and say, hey, what are they doing overseas that I'm not currently doing? What's best practice? What opportunities am I missing? And find some help and get stuck into it.
Awesome.